Welcome back to my channel, Cord Cutting in Sports. This is my annual college football cord cutting guide that I publish before the start of the season, usually in August. So let's go ahead and talk about everything that there is that you need to know with regards to cutting the cord and watching as much college football as possible. All right, so here's just kind of a brief summary of all the things I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as possible, but still making sure that, again, you have as much knowledge as needed. All right, so first, here is a brief summary of everything that has changed for the upcoming 2026 college football season. Now, some of these things changed in the middle of the previous season. Some of them changed in the off season, and there's also some other things. For example, price increases for ESPN Unlimited and ESPN Select that have literally just happened within the past, 3 days. So, a bunch of different services raised their prices. Here, DIRECTV, Peacock, Paramount Plus, Hulu Live TV, Sling, Fubo, ESPN Select, and ESPN Unlimited. As I mentioned, just in the last couple days. Now, though, most providers do include ESPN Unlimited and ESPN Plus with their, either their base plans that have the sports channels or their sports-only plans. Sling being the one exception. YouTube TV launched a sports-only skinny plan, which I'll talk about later. Fubo also did that as well, although technically they're launched really at the very, very start of last season, first week of September. DirecTV is just recently announced they're going to have a new kind of curated multi-view option for select games. It's not customizable, but it's going to basically pair 4 games in the same time slot together that you can then watch, and select on your device. Sling also launched 2 new skinny plans, Essentials and Select. The Pac-12, and I'll get to more on that at the bottom, is going to have their games aired on USA Network. All the games on the CW will now stream in the ESPN app and be included with ESPN Unlimited. ESPN3 was shut down. This happened towards the end of the last college football season. The Mountain West Conference is actually launching a new streaming service called Mountain West Plus, which is going to have some games included on it. And then finally, of course, we have conference realignment with 2 teams moving from FCS to FBS, multiple teams joining Oregon State and Washington State in the Pac-12, multiple teams leaving and joining the Mountain West Conference, 1 team leaving and 1 team joining the MAC, 1 team leaving and 1 team joining the Sun Belt. All right, so here is just kind of a brief summary or overview of your main college football channels. At the top, you have the linear TV channels, and then at the bottom, you have the streaming only channels. So I'm not going to go through and read all these, every single one. I mean, you can see that they're broken down by the various companies that own them and everything. And it also lists the various apps that you would use to watch these various channels as well. All right, so now here is a summary of the media rights for the Power 4 conferences. And you basically have, Tier 1, which is your broadcast networks, and then Tier 2, typically your cable channels. And then Tier 3, your conference networks, or, ESPN Plus for, say, the Big 12. They don't have a conference network. And then also it shows which station will be airing the conference championship game for each of these conferences. Now, also just want to mention that Notre Dame will have all 7 of its home games air on both Peacock Premium and NBC this year. For the first time in 3 or 4 years, there are no Peacock exclusive games for Notre Dame. In other words, all their games will air on NBC in addition to Peacock. Now, here are the conference rights for the group of 6 conferences. You can see there the Pac-12 announced a new deal, and it's going to have their games carried by, CBS or CBS Sports Network, and also the CW and USA, as mentioned previously. And then, like I said, the Mountain West Conference, they're starting a new streaming service, MW Plus, which is basically, kind of like you can think of it as Tier 3, or Partner 3. And of course, the only other independent now, besides Notre Dame, is UConn. All of their games are going to air on CBS Sports Network, except for the very first game at home versus Lafayette, which will air on 2 local stations. Now, unfortunately, the number of free ways to watch games has dwindled. ESPN3 again was shut down, so that doesn't exist anymore. Used to be able to watch, at least last year, the Mountain West games on this Rizzo Sports app, but that's not an option anymore. So now you're basically just left with an antenna. If you can get the broadcast networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and CW via an antenna, then obviously you can watch them without any type of subscription service. All right, so let's start getting into the various services. We're going to start with Sling. Sling is the oldest service, having been around since 2015. Now, there are a lot of different options and plans here, so again, bear with me as I try to highlight all of them. Your main basic plans are orange and blue. They're each $46 a month, but if you combine them together, the total cost is only $61 a month because they do have some channels that overlap. Now, you also have the ability to buy day passes, weekend passes, or week passes for $5, $10, and $15. And one thing to mention also is that the blue package, which is the one that features the locals, has an extra $4 a month charge if it carries 1 or 2 locals in your area, and an extra $9 a month charge if it carries all 3 locals. The locals are only going to be Fox, ABC, and NBC. Sling does not have a deal for any CBS channels, whether broadcast or cable. You also have Sports Extra add-on packages for these. It's $11 a month for either the orange or the blue, or if you have the orange and blue combined package, then getting the Sports Extra add-on becomes $15 a month because it includes the channels, from both. Now, the new plans they introduced, kind of skinny plans, Essentials, which is essentially a version of orange, and Select, which is a version of blue, cost $20 a month each. If you combine them, the total cost is $35 a month. And again, depending on how many locals you have in your area, Sling Select can be $5 a month more if it has 1 to 2 locals, or $10 per month more if it has all 3 locals. One thing you should note is that you can add the Sports Extra add-on, Sports Extra package, to Essentials and Select, or the combination of both as well. So the point is the Sports Extra plans are not limited to orange and blue. You can add them to these new skinny plans, Essentials and Select. The free DVR only includes 50 hours, which is very small. To get an unlimited DVR, you can pay an extra $5 a month. Of course, the orange plan only allows 1 simultaneous stream, which is basically a deal breaker for me, honestly. The blue plan does allow 3 simultaneous streams. It does not have any form of multi-view either. And just to mention there, you can see like all the various channels that are carried in the various packages. It does not include access to ESPN Plus events or ESPN Unlimited. So my opinion on Sling is that it's a good, cheaper option if you don't need the the over-the-air channels. But as I already mentioned, the free DVR is very small. You only get 1 ESPN stream. And now with the introduction of the, skinny sports plans from YouTube TV, Fubo, and the DIRECTV one, there are cheaper options to basically get more, sports channels than Sling has, and get your local channels as well if you need them. So Sling would be best for basically ACC or SEC fans because all their games are going to be on, ESPN networks. I guess the only potential issue with that would be games on the CW for the ACC teams, since those are streamed via ESPN Unlimited, but Sling doesn't include that. Or, of course, if you can get your OTA stations via an antenna, this might be another good option for you. But if you need ESPN Plus, if you need ESPN Unlimited, if you can't get your over-the-air stations via antenna, if you're a Big Ten fan whose games are going to be some games are going to be on CBS, Or if you want to be able to watch multiple ESPN games at the same time, this would be, a poor option for you. Next, let's talk about YouTube TV. So, as I mentioned, it now has a sports plan. It's $65 a month, and it still has, the main kind of base plan at $83 a month. There's also a Sports Plus add-on, but it does not have any college football-related channels. It mainly has, NFL Network, Red Zone, and some other random things. It includes 3 simultaneous streams, but if you pay extra for the 4K and unlimited streams add-on, then obviously on your home network you can have an unlimited number of streams. DVR has unlimited space on it, and it allows you to keep recordings for 9 months. The multi-view is now, supposedly, I haven't tried it out myself yet, but completely customizable. Previously it was not. It was kind of pre-built options where you could only add certain events with certain other events, but now it is supposedly completely customizable. And you can see all the channels listed there that it includes access to. These things that's here, this is basically every college football channel out there that you can get. Basically the only thing missing here is the separate subscription for, MW Plus from the Mountain West Conference. So, but all cable and streaming, channels outside of that, they're all here. So, YouTube TV has now the sports plan, which is an excellent choice because, the price is basically the same, exactly the same as Fubo or DIRECTV, but it has all the college football channels. It's not missing any, unlike Fubo, which I'll talk about coming up here. It has the key plays catch-up feature. It also has fully customizable multi-view now, which it did not have previously. And finally, since the start of August, YouTube TV subscribers have access to ESPN Plus and ESPN Unlimited content. So, YouTube TV would be best for, fans who obviously want to record many games, those who want to start watching games late and catch up to real time, which is something I end up doing a lot. Those who want to be able to choose, which games you want to watch 2 to 4 games simultaneously and be able to choose which ones you're watching. Who would this be worst for? I guess possibly fans who want to watch things in 4K content, and not have to pay extra for it. Or also, I didn't list it here, but I guess if you need to watch, if you need to have more than 3 streams at the same time, that would be another, possibility as well. Okay, next let's talk about Hulu plus Live TV. Their base plan is currently $90 a month, which includes, of course, Disney Plus and ESPN Select. Or you can still subscribe to just the Live TV for $1 cheaper, $89 a month, but that does not include Disney Plus or ESPN Select content. It still has only 2 simultaneous streams, but again, you can pay extra to get an unlimited number of streams on your home network. DVR is pretty standard compared to most of the other competitors. It's unlimited space. The recordings are kept for 9 months, and it does not have any type of multi-view at all. And you can see the channels listed there. Again, it's basically the exact same content. It's all the college football channels. Same exact thing that YouTube TV has. So Hulu with Live TV is still a good choice if you want or if you need Disney Plus. But it only has 2 simultaneous streams. It also has some restrictions on fast-forwarding DVR'd content with regard to skipping ads. And this includes both things that have been recorded and live, I guess we could consider live content. And so what I mean by that is a lot of times I will start watching a game late and then I will want to skip through the ads in order to catch up to real time. But certain devices, with Hulu Live on certain devices, and I know this because I've subscribed to it previously, it doesn't let you do that. It forces you to sit through the ad breaks, which is extremely annoying. And related to this, the one main advantage that it had previously, say over YouTube TV, was that it included ESPN Plus content. So if you were a YouTube TV subscriber, you had to pay an extra, $12, $10, $11 a month if you needed ESPN Plus content. But now, as I mentioned, YouTube TV includes that, so therefore that advantage is gone. You know, doesn't save you any money by subscribing to Hulu plus Live TV, just for accessing, needing to access ESPN Plus. So this would be best for fans, who need Disney Plus and don't want to, pay for it separately. It'd be worse for fans who want to DVR live games and catch up to them in real time, myself as an example, or fans looking to save money since it's now significantly more expensive than all of the sports-only plans, and it doesn't have any additional college football channels. All right, next let's talk about Fubo. So the sports and news plan is $65 a month. Pro is $89 a month, and Elite is $99 a month. But do keep in mind, those prices do not include the required RSN fee, which can be anywhere from like $15 to $17 a month on top of that. There are also some add-ons, Sports Lite and Sports Plus. All those really do is, for the Pro plan, they add ESPNU and ESPN News, which are technically not included, in the Pro plan. They don't. Sports and News already includes them, so that doesn't really apply to them. It does include 10 simultaneous streams on the home network, which is nice. The DVR, again, it's unlimited, and it's stores, according to available for up to 9 months. It does have fully customizable multi-view, but it's only on certain Roku and Apple TV devices. And you can see all the channels listed there. The one thing just to mention channels you don't see there, TNT and True TV. I mean, basically it's two channels, but really the same thing. And also USA. It does not carry those channels on any of its plans, so keep that in mind. Sports Plus News, which is basically what I used last fall primarily, is still a good option because it has fully customizable multi-view. I mean, again, if you have a certain high-end Roku device or an Apple TV, it has 10 streams, which is a lot. But as I mentioned, it doesn't have TNT, True TV, or USA, which may be a deal breaker for certain people, especially because TNT and True TV are going to carry a total of 5 college football playoff games this year, which is almost half of the 11 total games. So Fubo would be best for, just any kind of general fans or fans who want to watch more than 3 games at once because of the 10 streams. Fans who do also need their local RSN, whether for baseball or hockey or basketball. And again, fans who want fully customizable multi-view. Now, if you don't care about, watching or having an RSN, then Fubo will be worse for, the fans who want to save money. And I'm talking specifically about the Pro and Elite plans. Big 12 fans is also because they have games on TNT and True TV, or Pac-12 fans because they are going to have some of their games on USA. Next, let's talk about DIRECTV. So DIRECTV has the My Sports plan, which is considered a genre pack at $65 a month. And then it has Entertainment at $90 a month, Choice at $119 a month, and Ultimate at $149 a month. Those are considered signature packs. They're basically the plans that essentially morphed with or came from like the satellite packages. There's also the Sports Pack, which is $15 a month as well. One thing I should mention, these prices on here that you see are without leasing a Gemini device. If you do lease a Gemini device, and which would give you channel numbers to actually click through and click to, then the signature packs, Entertainment, Choice, Ultimate, all increase by $10 a month. The DVR is pretty standard. Again, it's unlimited space. Recordings are kept for 9 months. It has even more streams than Fubo does at 20 simultaneous streams on your home network, 3 outside of it. And you can see the various channel offerings listed there. Basically, the My Sports plan includes all of the college football channels available, similar to YouTube TV. The main differences are between it, and I'll talk about this a little bit on the next slide, are going to be that My Sports does include 4K content for free. There's no extra charge in order to be able to watch that, unlike YouTube TV. However, its multi-view is significantly worse. So there are mixed channels, which are basically, four specific designated channels. It's like ESPN, ESPN2, FS1, and I forget what the fourth one is. I think it's NBC Sports Network. But there are mixed channels where they take four kind of related channels and they just put them together on one feed, so to speak. And those channels remain constant. They are going to have the new curated things where they're going to basically select, four games at the same time and set them up in one kind of stream to watch. That's new for this year. That was announced basically like just a couple weeks ago. So that's, closer to what Fubo and YouTube TV offer, but it's still not the same. It's still not anywhere near, fully customizable. And also, the signature plans are now just way too expensive, again, unless you need your local RSN. So, who would DIRECTV plans be best for? Well, if you want to watch more than 3 games at once because of, again, the generous number of streams, or if you want to watch 4K content without having to pay extra, DIRECTV My Sports would be great for you. However, if you want truly customizable multi-view, then this is not, the plan that you should be looking at. Or if you want to save money, and again, this is in reference solely to the signature plans. Next, let's talk about ESPN Unlimited, the direct-to-consumer service that was created basically about a year ago in August of 2025. So they actually just raised their prices for this essentially like, 3 days ago or something, to $2 a month. So it's now $32 a month, or the yearly price, if you want to pay for a whole year, is $320. However, the bundle offer with ESPN Unlimited and Fox One is still $40 a month. That did not appear to change in price, at least based on what I've seen from going on the website. So this includes basically technically 5 simultaneous streams, but only 3 maximum devices at one time. Does not include a DVR. It includes all of your linear cable channels and also sporting events that are on ABC only. And of course, it also includes access to ESPN Plus events and ESPN Unlimited exclusive events as well. Currently, YouTube TV, Hulu Live, DIRECTV, and Fubo customers all have access to ESPN Unlimited and all the content it includes. Basically, it's just Sling, of the major services that does not include it or does not feature it. Now, my opinion on ESPN Unlimited is the following. It is still the cheapest way to get, ESPN and ESPN2 and all the ancillary ESPN channels, and this is the key, with ESPN Plus. Technically, Sling Essentials plus the sports add-on would get you all of the ESPN linear channels, but that would not include ESPN Plus, and it would not include, the ESPN Unlimited content either. But that technically would be cheaper, I think, because that would be $31 a month versus this $32. However, the main downside that I see, and I experienced this when I used this basically during bowl season last year in December, is that there is no DVR. Now, most of the college football games are available to watch on replay, but those only stay around for about a month. I think it's really technically like 28 days or so. And there's other content that isn't even available for replay. So, for example, Monday Night Football does not show up for replay, and there's no DVR. So you have to watch, basically you have to watch it live, or else, you're not able to see it with this. Compared to all the other services that have DVRs where you can record something and, watch it later. So it is a good choice for those who can get your main broadcast networks via an antenna, and you only need the ESPN cable channels. So this service would be best for, obviously fans of the ACC and SEC, since all their games are on there. Also, those who can't, like I said, can get your broadcast channels via an antenna, or fans who generally are going to watch games live. Now, this would be worse for Big Ten, Mountain West Conference, Pac-12 fans because none of them have deals with ESPN. Fans who can't get your OTA stations via antenna because then you're gonna have to pay more, either like separately to Paramount Plus or to Peacock or Fox One, or fans who need a DVR as well. One last thing I should mention that I did include in the what's new category, but it's not specifically mentioned here, is all the CW games will be streamed in the ESPN app and essentially through ESPN Unlimited. So if you have access to ESPN Unlimited, then you can watch all of the games that air on the CW network, whether it's ACC or whether it's Pac-12. So that's just another thing to keep in mind as well. Now, technically, there's also ESPN Select. This was, what was originally known as ESPN Plus when there was only one plan, until a year ago when they also introduced ESPN Unlimited. So the plan is called ESPN Select, but the content itself still has, the ESPN Plus name with it. So just, be aware of that. Still has the same device and streaming limits that ESPN Unlimited has. And it's going to carry games from a bunch of conferences. Now, things to keep in mind there, the ACC and SEC games are not exclusive to ESPN Plus, but for the other conferences, those games are. That's because the ACC games air on ACC Network Extra, which you get access to if you have ACC Network, and the SEC games also air on SEC Network Plus, which again you get access to if you already have SEC Network. So just something to be aware of about that. So I'm talking here about only purchasing ESPN Select on its own. And also, I think I forgot to mention, its price with the increase, it's now up to $14 a month or $140 for the year. Purchasing this on its own and not purchasing ESPN Unlimited would really only be for those who need ESPN Plus access only and don't care about Unlimited, or maybe somehow already have access to all the ESPN linear channels. Like maybe you subscribe to Sling, so you get all the main ESPN channels, but you still need ESPN Plus access. If you're a fan of one of those 7 conferences, really 5 because you can exclude the ACC and the SEC, like I said. But pretty much everyone else, you're either already getting this as part of ESPN Unlimited, or there's no need for it. Next, let's talk about Fox One. So this is the, again, direct-to-consumer Fox offering, which debuted again about a year ago, around the same time that ESPN Unlimited did. Its current price is $20 a month or $200 for a yearly subscription. You still do have, like I said, the bundle offer of $40 a month, including ESPN Unlimited. It only includes, at least for college football purposes, those 4 channels you see listed there, Broadcast Fox, FS1, FS2, BTN. The number of streams on your home network is unlimited, but there's limited to 3 outside of the home, which is pretty standard. The DVR is unlimited in terms of space, but again, you can only keep recordings for up to 9 months. So it does say that it has multi-view, but only on certain devices, but I could not really find the specific list of devices that applied to. So it does appear to offer multi-view, but I could not find, like for example on Fubo's website, they list the specific Roku and Apple TV models that do have that ability. So my opinion on Fox One is it's a good way to get, first of all, it's the only way to get Fox directly via a DTC service. It could be a good choice for those who can't get Fox via an antenna, and or if you only need the Fox cable channels, or if you pair this with ESPN Unlimited. If you take ESPN Unlimited and this, and then maybe you can get all your broadcast networks via antenna, you're going to get a lot of college football games. Not all of them, but still most of them. So this might be good for Big Ten fans since they are going to have a number of games, obviously, on the various Fox networks. Or, like I said, fans who can't get Fox, via an antenna. And this would obviously be the worst for ACC and SEC fans because they're not going to have any games on Fox, again, unless one of those teams is a visitor to another team out of conference that does have, broadcast rights with Fox. Next, let's talk about HBO Max. So this is a streaming service that basically includes, the live streams of events for TNT and True TV. There's the standard plan, which is now $18.49 a month after this price increase, or $185 per year. There's premium, which is $23 a month, or $230 per year. There's also a third plan, which is cheaper than both of those, but it does not include the sports events, so I didn't bother to list it here. Again, what you're interested in is really like the games that are airing on TNT or True TV. I mean, technically they air on TNT and True TV and Max, but if you're subscribed to Max, you're already getting you're already getting access to the games via TNT and True TV. All right, so the number of simultaneous streams varies by the plan. The cheaper plan, standard, it's only 2. The more expensive plan, the premium, is 4. There's no DVR. I was told, though, that for the, say, Big 12 college football games, they did have on-demand viewing available last year, meaning, after a game was over, it would show up in an on-demand area, say in the app or on the website, that you could watch a replay of it for. But I was not able to test that or confirm that myself. Now, this would be best for people who subscribe to Fubo, since, those networks are not included, and therefore you'd be missing those games. Or also, potentially for those who do the ESPN and Fox One, ESPN Unlimited Fox One bundle. Because this would get you all the games on TNT, the TNT/True TV, Big 12 games, and the 5 college football playoff games. This would probably be worst for pretty much everyone else because you're most likely already subscribed to something that includes TNT or True TV, and therefore, you already have access to those specific games. Next, let's talk about Paramount Plus. So there are currently 2 plans, basically a cheaper one, which is Essential, and then a more expensive one, which is Premium. Essential is $9 a month or $90 per year after a price increase. Premium is $14 a month or $140 per year, again, after a price increase. Premium is required, i.e. the more expensive plan, is required to watch the Big Ten games. It also includes a live stream of your local CBS channel and no ads. However, I'm not sure what level is going to be required to watch the Mountain West or Pac-12 games that appear, I'm talking about the very limited number that appear on CBS broadcast. So I guess we'll find out, once the season starts. I mean, previously for the Mountain West games, it was the lower price plan. It was the Essential. So I don't know if that's going to continue, and who knows what's going to happen with the Pac-12 because they signed the new TV deal after they got the 6 new teams joining. So this would be a good service, or best for those who cannot get CBS via an antenna, or if you subscribe to a service that doesn't have CBS. So Sling, for example, which doesn't carry any CBS channels, or maybe, I don't know, one of the other services for whatever reason doesn't have, your local CBS station. But it would be worse for, pretty much everyone else because you're going to be able to watch these games either via an antenna or via whatever other service, you're subscribed to. Next, we can talk about Peacock, NBC's streaming offering. So it also has 2 plans, but you can see they're a bit more pricey than, Paramount Plus. You have Premium, which is now $13 a month or $130 a year, again, after a price increase, or Premium Plus, which is now up to $20 a month or $200 for a year. Again, there is a third plan, which is cheaper, but it doesn't include access to the sports content, so I did not mention it here. Now, Premium includes all of your Notre Dame home games. There's 7 of those this year, and it includes the Big Ten games as well. While Premium Plus obviously includes those games, but it also has limited ads and it has the live stream of your local NBC station. But to view the college football games, you only need the first one, which is the cheaper one, which is Premium. This year, none of the Notre Dame games are exclusive to Peacock, which was not the case for, I think, the last 3 years. There was always one game that was exclusive to Peacock. The rest also aired on NBC. But again, this year, all 7 of the games are airing on NBC in addition to Peacock. However, there will be Big Ten exclusive Peacock games. One thing just to be aware of, again, I don't know what's going to happen with this, but so NBC basically brought back NBC Sports Network, and they began airing some Peacock exclusive content on that NBC Sports Network linear channel. They've done it, I believe, with soccer. I think it's with EPL. I mean, don't quote me on that. If it's the wrong league, then someone can correct me. But it's unclear, if they would do that with these. I think it's going to be 9 Big Ten games again. But I suppose it could be possible just based on what we've seen, for the spring and the summer. So just be aware or be on the lookout for that. This service would be best for those who cannot get NBC via antenna. Or, again, if you subscribe to a service that doesn't have your local NBC, whether that would be Sling, because they only have it in limited markets, or maybe one of the other ones just randomly, for some reason, doesn't carry your NBC. But otherwise, it's, pretty much be the worst for pretty much everyone else. Next, here I have what I call a streaming service, channel comparison chart. This basically shows all of the, like multi-channel services that you can subscribe to, going from the absolute cheapest on the left, starting with Sling Essentials and Sling Select, to the most expensive option, DIRECTV Choice, on the right. Essentially everything in between, going in ascending order of cost. So it basically shows which channels are available on all of these various networks. Now, one thing I just do want to mention is I put CW down under any service that includes ESPN Unlimited, since with that you would be able to stream the CW games. However, that doesn't mean you get the actual, CW channel itself for, say, non-football content or other things. So this is only, basically, if you see CW here, that means with that plan, you will be able to stream the CW games in the ESPN app. Another thing to consider, too, is that the network channels vary by location. So, for example, under Sling Select or Sling Blue, I've listed ABC, NBC, and Fox, but they only have those in a limited number of markets. So just be aware the availability of the local broadcast channels, does vary by market. Another thing just to be aware of too is that the Fubo prices for Pro and Elite do not include the RSN fee because those vary by market. So the $89 and the $99 you see there is going to probably be somewhere around, $15 to $17 more per month, depending on which market you're in. Now, it's probably difficult to see this thing on whatever device you're watching it, so there'll be a link to, the PDF file that you can use, to look at this this whole thing, in a larger manner. Okay, a couple things to know. These are the same exact things that basically I mentioned last year. So if you watched my video last year and you saw this section, you can just skip this. You can just go ahead and move on. Okay, the first thing to be aware of is local coverage issues. Sometimes what happens is there's a game that's supposed to be airing on ABC or some other national channel, national broadcast channel. But because of some other event, it gets bumped to maybe a sub-channel of that national, local national channel. And perhaps the streaming service that you're subscribed to doesn't carry that sub-channel, like My TV or This TV or, whatever, those things, the 4.2, 4.3, stuff like that. It could be because of national coverage, too. They did this with the Supreme Court thing, a bunch of years ago, where the ABC all dumped out of the West Virginia game, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and instead went to, coverage of the Supreme Court nomination announcement. So if that happens, then you're going to have to go to whatever app the game is airing in, to watch the game itself. So I'm talking like the ESPN app or the Fox One or Fox Sports app. Second thing is, when you look at the conference networks, specifically I'm talking here about Big Ten Network and SEC Network, okay, they use overflow channels for when you have multiple games airing at the same time. Not all services carry the overflow channels. So just be aware, again, if your service does not provide or does not add the overflow channels to the guide, then you're going to have to go again to the specific app that's used to watch those games. So like, for example, the ESPN app or the, again, Fox Sports or Fox One app. Another thing just to be aware of is that games often run past the allotted, end time. And so all the time you'll see a game run past, and therefore the next game that's scheduled to start won't start on the channel it's supposed to air on, but instead they'll move it to some other channel. So the problem is they move it to, like, say, ESPNU, or they move it to ESPN News. If you don't receive those as part of your subscription package, you wouldn't be able to watch those games. You wouldn't be able to watch it until it comes back on to the other channel, the regular channel that is broadcasting it, that you do subscribe to. So just be aware about that as well. Or sometimes they'll just stream it online only, so you will have to go to the app of the company that's broadcasting it. Like the ESPN app, for example, you wouldn't be able to watch it necessarily in your guide. Last thing, just be aware of too, the TV partner of the home team determines, which channel, or basically which of its partners, broadcast partners, are going to air a game. So just be aware, it's possible that if you're an ACC fan or an SEC team fan, all of their rights are basically held by ESPN, but you may have an out-of-conference game playing a Big Ten team, or playing other Big 12 team where the game could end up being aired on Fox, or it could be aired on NBC, or it could be aired on CBS. So just be aware, you normally wouldn't count on needing that network to watch games, but there might be one game where you would. Okay, so here are kind of my rankings in terms of, like, basically just the flat out cheapest / best options that are out there. So ESPN Unlimited combined with Fox One, that bundle, plus an antenna, is going to run you $40 a month. All you're going to miss are basically the TNT games. Technically, you would miss CBS Sports Network as well, and also USA. So any Pac-12 games on USA you would not have access to. Now, you could add Paramount Plus and or Peacock to this. If you could not get those channels via an antenna, that would bring the total cost up to $67, which, if you notice, that's actually more than like the sports only plans from YouTube TV, DIRECTV, and Fubo. But those are those are options as well. Now, my I guess I would say personal preference or best option out there when you combine everything is YouTube TV, the sports plan specifically. $65 a month. It has all of the college football related channels. It has basically all the features you're looking for. This year now, customizable multi-view, key plays, catch-up feature, unlimited DVR. And the other thing too is it's very, very easy to like start and stop a game, and resume it later as well. The only thing you could say it's missing or lacking is the 4K included content. So in order to watch 4K content, you would have to spend extra, as I mentioned earlier, for the 4K / unlimited streams add-on. So that's kind of like the only downside to it. Now, another very comparable option is the DIRECTV My Sports plan. It's the exact same price. Again, it carries all the same college football channels as YouTube TV. However, it includes the 4K content. It does not have all the features, though. It does not have truly customizable multi-view. It does not have key plays, catch-up feature that YouTube TV does. DVR, is basically similar, identical. It's unlimited. It does have more streams, though, so it's another advantage. YouTube TV, you can only watch 3 simultaneous streams. DirecTV, you can watch 20 on your home network. But those are the two things that I would, basically say are like the two best options out there. Fubo, I used it last year for the majority of the season. It is missing TNT, and that's going to be a lot more of a pain point this season since, like I said, 5 of the 11 college football playoff games are going to air on TNT. It's not just, 2 of the worst first-round games like it was the past 2 years. All right, so now here is a summary of current deals that are available. One disclaimer, the YouTube TV deals or discounts listed there expire on August 26th. So just be aware, I'm sure they're going to have new deals that pop up after that, but just if you're watching this and it's after August 26th and the new deals they offered are better or worse, just be aware that's the reason why, because this was recorded, as on basically August 25th. Okay, so Sling, the only real thing that's out there is basically prepaying for 5 months of Essentials and Select and Sports Extra. It's $200, and that's basically a savings of a total of $50. It's really $10 a month off, what you would otherwise pay. YouTube TV has an offer of saving $10 a month on the sports plan for up to a year. On the main base plan, you can save $15 a month for the first 3 months. For DIRECTV, you can currently save $15 a month for just the first month on the My Sports plan. On the entertainment and choice packages, you can save $30 a month for the first month, and then choice also has an extra $10 a month off for months 2 and 3. For Fubo, the sports and news plan is discounted by $10 for the first month. Pro is discounted by $25 for the first month, and Elite is discounted by $30 just for the first month only. And finally, there's also a discount code out there, we're going to call it promo code, for the Fox One service. It basically takes the yearly subscription price and cuts it in half down to $100 from $200. You can see the code there on the screen. I'll also include a direct link to the page where you can see the code being applied as well. Note, pretty much all of these offers are for, I believe, new subscribers. The only one I think which is not required is technically the DIRECTV ones. I think if you have not subscribed in the past year that you also qualify for those, but everything else is only for new subscribers. And the last thing to be aware of too, I have it in red letters at the top. Make sure you check credit card offers or debit card offers as well. I mean, like my bank has these, they call them deals or whatever. If you pay by debit card for some of these services. But for example, right now on some Chase credit cards, I've got YouTube TV $20 off per month. Minimum spend is only $45. Sling, there's one offer that's like 38% off, up to whatever, I forget what the maximum dollar amount savings is, but it's fairly high. But yeah, 38% off. So it's a percentage, not a dollar amount. But also Fubo, I think on my American Express card, there is a $20 per month discount that's redeemable up to I think it's 3 times or whatever. So just be aware. Look at your credit cards as well to try to save money, that way. All right, bowl season. So similar to last year, basically every postseason game is going to be on ESPN Network except for the Arizona Bowl, which will be on the CW again. Sun Bowl, which is always on CBS. The Holiday Bowl, it's not officially announced yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be on Fox again, as it has been. And then, this is the big change, the 5 college football playoff games that are going to air on TNT/TruTV and also /HBO Max, okay? So it's 2 opening round, then 2 quarterfinals, and 1 of the semifinals are airing on those. So again, it's 5 out of the 11 total games. Last thing just to kind of mention or put out there. If you want to download or save games so you can keep them as long as you want, past the 9-month period that most DVRs allow, basically for ESPN, the streams are now encrypted. You have to use a specific program that I have listed there that starts with the N. You also have to use a plugin for a browser called Widevine Proxy 2. The process of it takes a little bit of time to get it set up and working because there's some other programs you have to download and everything. But once you get it working, it generally works very well. you can check out my video. I have a video where I go through it all in detail from start to finish of downloading this program, put it in this directory. Download this program, install it this way. Then once we get everything installed, I go through step by step and I download a game, or an event from the ESPN website, and then show you that it plays afterwards and everything works perfectly. For Fox, the process is a little bit different. There's technically two different ways you can do it. The older method is using Streamlink, which I have videos from a couple of years ago showing how you can do it, but it's kind of annoying because you have to download it as a TS file and then you have to convert it to an MP4 to get rid of the commercials. You have to basically re-encode it. However, there is a new method that you can do using that new program, N_M3U8DL-RE. Again, I made a video about it. Again, this is more complicated than the ESPN method in terms of how you set it up. But once you get it set up the first time, replicating it is not that bad. But again, I'll have links to those videos as well if you're interested in this. All right, so lastly, that is it for my 2026 college football cord cutting guide, the season preview edition. If you have any questions or comments or feedback or anything, you can leave them below or reach out to me via email. Again, there's a PDF version of this document, which will be of the guide, which will be linked in the description and also in the pinned comment below. But otherwise, I hope you are looking forward to the college football season as much as I am this year.